Man, Benito caused a stir at the Super Bowl during the halftime show. Grab a cup of coffee. Let's talk about it.
In the office, there's a man. He's got charm and he's got plans. Wookie's name a cool surprise, like a cookie with a W prize. Oldest ride, longest line, everyone wants the time. Wookie's got that special sway, takes you on a trip each day. Ticket please to ride Wookie's train. Ticket please, don't wanna explain. Ticket please to where the sparks fly. Oldest ride, but he's still so high.
Welcome back to another edition of Coffee with Kreiner, with yours truly, George Wookie Kreiner. Hey, do me a favor, if you haven't, make sure you subscribe to my channel and then hit the like button, because it does something with like the algorithms. I don't understand all of it because I'm not a really techie guy. I just know that it really helps with YouTube, helps me get views, and it's just a good thing. At least I think it would be a good thing. Please. Unless you were living under a rock, I'm certain that you heard about the big stir and all the commotion and the controversy with the Super Bowl halftime show. And I don't even want to get into, I think the whole politics of it has been talked about enough, right? But there was an alternative show, and a lot of folks had issues with that. I didn't listen to Bad Bunny at the NFL halftime show because I've heard his music. I don't like it. I'm not a fan of his. I like Latino music. I like Latino pop jams. I do. I just don't like him. So I switched over and I checked out the All-American halftime show because I like the music a lot better. And I'm glad that I did, because the headliner of it was Kid Rock. And I don't know if you watched it or not. Well, I guess it doesn't matter if you did or didn't. I'm going to tell you the story. What I really liked about Kid Rock's performance is that it told a story. It started out with him from years ago when he first started with ball, bang, 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 which was not exactly family friendly. But then it went into violins. He came out from behind a curtain, and they introduced him as Robert Ritchie, his real name. He sang the song Till You Can. I wasn't familiar with it, and it's not his original song, but he added to it. And what was great about him adding to it was about the Bible. What he said was, there's probably a book with dust on it in your house somewhere. Go dust it off. And in that book, there's a story about a man who hung on a cross, and his name was Jesus, and God sent him to save you and I. I thought it was great because the whole performance told the story of how Kid Rock had changed. And so I made a post on social media, and then someone commented. And it was a guy that I worked with in radio a long time ago, and he worked for the rock station. And he listed the lyrics of ball, whatever it is. And then he said, oh, is this from the Old Testament? He was really being condescending. The old me would have snapped back, said some really nice things, hashtag sarcasm, but I didn't. I did respond. And I responded by saying that if we allow him to, Jesus can change all of us. And it looks like, appears, that Jesus is working on Kid Rock. Now, that doesn't mean he's perfect. He's not. But it looks like he's being changed. And it isn't the first time. All you have to do is pick the Bible up and start reading through it. What came to my mind immediately was how Saul became Paul. Saul in the Bible, if you're not familiar with him, was crucifying and killing Christians. Hated them. And God changed him to Paul. Paul ended up writing most of the New Testament. He was a disciple. And he was actually crucified upside down. And he's not the only one in the Bible that changed, that God had changed. If you think about it, if you go back to the time of Moses, when Moses was negotiating with Pharaoh, let the Israelites go, Pharaoh was he was a mean SOB. And he kept denying him, kept denying him, kept denying him, kept denying him. And for God's purpose and for the purpose of releasing the Israelites, God changed Pharaoh's heart. He let him go. Now, that was only for an instant, because Pharaoh went back to being him, and he chased after him, so on and so forth. And then, if you know the story, you know that Pharaoh got swept up in the Red Sea and so on and died, and along with his army and chariots and everything else. But God always has a purpose in what he does. always has a purpose in what he does. If you look at Mary Magdalene in the Bible, she was once possessed by 7 demons. Not 1, not 2, because I would think 1 would be enough. No. 7 demons. All kinds of crazy. And God healed her, transformed her to being a very faithful woman of Christ. And she actually went to Jesus' tomb and reported on the resurrection. So this has happened throughout the Bible, where Jesus has changed the hearts of so many people and so many men and women too. His disciples, some of them were fishermen. Have you been out on the boat? Not for nothing. I'm not judging, but it is what it is. Not some of the most godliest people ever, but Jesus changed them. It's going to be interesting to me to see what's going to happen with Kid Rock. And I can relate to it. I'm not putting myself parallel or on the same stage, so to speak, as Kid Rock. But I can tell you this. In my lifetime, and I've shared with you before that I was in radio for a long, long time. And I was very, very blessed. I started out doing nights here on Delmarva in the area, Salisbury and Ocean City, Maryland. And I was the best. And it went to my head. I didn't realize that I didn't even give God any credit for the talent that I had, that he had given me. I mean, I kicked butt. I had the highest ratings at night of any radio station in this market. If you had told me then, when I was in my 20s, that I'd be talking to you now about Jesus, I would have told you that you were crazy. Yeah, look, I've always been a believer in Jesus Christ. I've always believed. I just didn't have a relationship with him. But now, looking at where I am today, he's really changed me. I don't do the things I did then. I have no desire to really drink alcohol. Now, I'm not a goody-goody, but every day I wake up, I'm thanking Jesus. He's on my mind first. I'm thanking him for the air that I breathe. I thank him for the day because I know that tomorrow isn't promised. I know he doesn't owe me anything. But back then, when I was in my 20s, I thought I was the ish. I thought I was owed everything because I'm Wookiee. I was very cocky. I was very arrogant. Carried that into my 30s. And it was probably in my 40s that God stripped me of everything and got my attention because I'm really, really hard-headed. And he turned me around. I literally can remember, and if you think I'm nuts with what I'm about to say, that's fine. I've been called nuts by a lot of people. But God, literally in my living room one night, I could feel his index finger like almost touching my nose. And it was the darkest time of my life. I thought I was going to lose everything. Didn't have a job. Had split up with then girlfriend. My mom was in the hospital in a diabetic coma. I was mad. Didn't know how I was going to survive. And he literally said to me and pointed his finger in my nose, my face. Now that I have your attention, this is what he said. This is what he said. Now that I have your attention, now you're going to deal with me. And I've been dealing with him ever since in a good way. And look what's happened. Here, years later, I have a podcast that I'm reaching out. Look, I don't know how many people that listen to this. I don't. I just know it can be worldwide. It may just be, I don't know, a handful of people to millions. I mean, but wherever God takes my voice in this message, that's entirely up to him. But I never thought I'd be doing this. I never thought I'd be talking to you or anybody else about Jesus. I never thought that every morning, Monday through Friday, I'd be texting 50 friends of mine, hey, good morning, and then there's scripture. And I don't do it to get anything back. I just know I was told to do it. And I guess the whole point of this is that God can change people, man, and he can change you. If you're going through some things and you feel like you're just getting hit wave after wave after wave after wave after wave of negativity, and if you feel like you're going to lose your house, which I thought I was, if you lost your job and you don't know how you're going to eat tomorrow, which went there, if you think you're going to lose your best friend, my mom was my best friend, turn to him. He created everything. Everything we see, everything we have, he's created. So you know what? He owns it anyway, including you. Because I can tell you, being without him is a lot worse than being with him. And even if everything is going good in your life and you're not turning to God and you say, well, you know, Wookiee, I don't really need God because I do this and this and this. I do whatever I want. My life's great. Well, just remember, friend, the devil is the king of deception. He will string you along, let you think everything is good, and all the while putting you on the path to hell. So my advice to you And the whole point of this edition of Coffee with Kreiner is if you haven't, start to turn to Jesus. He just wants a relationship with you. That's all he wants. It will be the absolute best decision you've ever made. And you know what? If you have any questions about it, you can leave a message. You can make a comment. I'll comment scripture back. I'll do whatever I can to help you. My dream, it takes place in a field, and it's sunny. It's warm. It's not hot. It's warm. Light breeze. And there's really just happy music playing in the background. And I see all my friends and everybody I love and care about. And I had that dream for a long, long time. And it hit me. That's heaven. And you know what? We may not have met, but I want to see you there too. Hey, thanks for listening to this edition of Coffee with Kreiner. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. And I'll talk to you next time.
In the office there's a man. He's got charm and he's got plans. Wookie's name a cool surprise, like a cookie with a W prize. Oldest ride, longest line, everyone wants the time. Wookie's got that special sway, takes you on a trip each day. Ticket please to ride Wookie's train. Ticket please, don't wanna explain. Ticket please to where the sparks fly. Oldest ride but he's still so high. Wookie smiles, makes you weak. He's the one they always seek. Lines for him around the door. Wookie keeps you wanting more. Oldest ride, keeps it real. Longest line, it's the deal. Wookie's love never fades. Time is charm in the shades. Ticket please to ride Wookie's train. Ticket please, don't wanna explain. Ticket please to where the sparks fly. Oldest ride but he's still so high. Oldest ride, longest line, everyone wants their time. Wookie's got that special sway, takes you on a trip each day. Ticket please to ride Wookie's train. Ticket please, don't wanna explain. Ticket please to where the sparks fly. Oldest ride but he's still so high. Ticket please to ride Wookie's train. Ticket please, don't wanna explain. Ticket please to where the